Well, education is not so bad now as it used to be. I mean, when I was going to school, I went to school in this little schoolhouse right here. Well, after grade 6, that was all you needed. You didn't need any more than that. There was nobody to force you. We got no baby bonus then. There was nobody to force you to go to school. You didn't have to go to school. All you need is a fishing boat. So grade 2 was just as good as grade 5, 10, or anything else. You didn't need a college education. There's nowhere to go. As far as I was concerned, Fogo Island was it. That was the universe.
Yes.
That's right. Fogo Island was the universe then.
That was the world.
That was the world. And grade 2 was just the same. I think I went to grade 6, or 7 was it. So that was enough. I went in the fishing boat and went fishing. And I think I was only 13 years old then, and me and my sister, she's right over there now, we lived together. I was a man then at 13. I had a household to look after. And I was 13 years of age.
Jim, when did you decide at what moment to leave Fogo and what?
I don't really know. I guess we just figured we needed a change, that was it. And I was single and I had no worries, and me and my brother and my boyfriend in BRITT Islands there, we all went to Toronto.
Everybody got away from the show except you, was it?
That's right.
You had to go.
Now you had to go away and get a wife.
Well, boy, there's something good came out of it. There you go. You may say to me, well, why didn't you bring in the herring and do them up yourself? I had nothing to secure them herring in. I was prosecuting the cod fishery. But it was a plan where I could put out 6 or 7 herring nets, come in and sell my herring to a plant, someone that was buying them. Well, $100 worth of herring would be just as good to me as $100 worth of codfish. I couldn't see the difference in that. But for the simple reason that there's nowhere to dispose of them herring, you just had to be beaten out of the net and going on the bottom. Should never be. And we've had gillnet south, we've had flounder, all kinds of species of fish. It's all no good. And even the cod, it's only the body of the fish. The head and the sound, the cod roll, it's all thrown back. It's no good. And there is only one suggestion or conclusion that I can come to on that, and that's we're not organized, like I said earlier. We can apply for a loan, maybe, to the government and get it, but who's going to apply for the loan? It's no good for one individual to apply for a loan. They're not going to get anything. It's no good for Andrew BRITT or John Osmond to send him to the government and say he's going to start a plant. He's one individual. But if we were a group of people, say we had a good strong union, a local, a body of people get together and protest that they want this thing and stand to that, I think they get it.
What prevents that here?
Well, the discouraging of the people. There is a class, which you'll find everywhere around, that says, well, it's no good for us to try for that. We're too small a group. There's people of Fogo Island, they consider that we are too small to apply for a thing like that. But I say, no, we are a people worth recognizing. And the few pioneers of this island should still continue on and protest to the government that we want this thing, we must have it. As I said earlier, we are a part of Canada. And not abide by the other fellow who says, why, I'm going to leave. I don't see no future. That's a man that don't know what he wants. Wherever he goes, he's going to have to work. But we got to stand together, stand in unity, and protest and fight it, and we'll succeed.
I got to take the water. And I love the water. And I'm still going to love it, as long as I live.
Why do you want to stay here?
Because it's a good place. I don't think I'd be intending to settle down or another place. But 'tis from the fishery, if I could settle down in a good fishing settlement, yes, all right. But still can be a failure as well as show by the year.
You have always made a living?
Yes, sir, always, yeah. Always seen the fishing boat. I was
As much
fishing.
as I have and everybody else.
I was fishing when I was 12-year-old. I was chairman with under BRITT. Skipper John then was the boat, the man. I was 12-year-old, better man than I is now. I swung the box saw when I was 12-year-old. I was at 15-year box saw every fall, scatter winter. I give up that after I got married. I was supposed to wait.
Yes, sure.
I'm still the same old thing. Still likes the fishing boat. If there's any way to get clear, get the fish and get clear of it. But sir, Fogo Island, as far as I can understand, is a plant we want for Fogo Island. Say, I go out and catch my fish, we know what I haul up on me hook, I have it aboard my boat. I come in outside the plant, all right, I have it all up. You get paid for it. But see to that, there's nothing out of the cod. You bring in your cod and you have it in the pan. And the boat will come in, you have it aboard the boat, that's all you know. Practically you'll get something for it. But the next buyer, you say, that buyer paid more. Somebody else come on. Well, he's paying more. Why you can't it all pay alike? One buyer, all buyers pay alike. They don't.
Do you think Fogo Island fishermen should hold together and form, say, their own cooperative union?
Yeah.
And do you think if you all kept your fish together and advertised not to Fogo Island, not to St. John, but to the world,
That's right.
you have 30,000 gallons of fish to sell? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I agree to that.
There'd be no difficulty. It was a processing plant put on Fogo Island. We have a road, a passable road, and we're hoping to have a better one in the future. Well, I see no obstacle if there was a processing plant put anywhere on Fogo Island where that fish couldn't be transported across the island by truck or some other means. There'd be no obstacle there as I see it. But that's only a personal opinion, of course.
But any time you put it in, anytime you put it in is going to reap great advantages to it being there. Should it be put on a rock somewhere where there's no town?
No, I don't agree with that. I agree that it should be put where there's lots of water, into a good harbor where there's good shipping port, and where there's no difficulty getting there by road.
Is there a place like that?
And there is places like that on Fogo Island, lots of them. There's a place right here in this bay now, although it'll only take about a half a mile of road, I guess. But there's a place there right in this bay where a plant can be built, and it could be built on the rocks, as you mentioned earlier. And the boat can still come in and load. There's a square bench. I guess, what would you say is there, John, 5-6 fathoms of water? Clay bottom.
How do you think you get people to agree on where it's to go?
Well, I don't see why people should disagree. They want something on this island, and there's no good for me to say I want it here in Shoal Bay. Another guy to say he wanted in Jobat Sarm or in Seldom. We want it on the island, and we're asking for something on the island, and we got to leave out any particular community. We want something for the benefit of the island, therefore we cannot talk on put it in a certain place.
But I'm told that there was a great deal of difficulty in relation to locating a school.
Well, I
And it's still unresolved.
That's right, that is true. But I think right now that problem is solved. I think if it were today, there'd be no problem. People learn their mistakes, by mistakes we learn.
You think there's more unity on the
I
island now
think so. Yeah.
than say 5 years ago?
Yes, because I believe the people have seen their mistake. Be not becoming organized and to have unity. They've seen their mistakes. in that respect. This is why. I think this is why that we had lots of the things that we're lacking of on Fogo Island. We've been contrary one to another. We've had a job to get two people to agree on the one particular thing. I wants it here, and I wants it there. We won't give it to you at all. It's like one candy that you got for two children. There's two children, you got one candy. They both can't have them. And as I said, it's by mistakes we learn. That is why we've got no organization here on Fogo Island. We had a union. That's still in existence, I suppose, but there's only a handful of members. But that's going to get reorganized. I have a feeling it will be reorganized. Some of our cooperative movements has perished in our midst. Some there was no help for. Some there was. But all these things that we saw perish, by them things we've learned. If it comes back again, if it ever gets organized again, I think we'll hold on, hold fast this time. That's my opinion, sir. But we ain't got to be afraid of them things anymore. What we know, we got to let people know that we know it. And getting out and do something. By that, they'll know what we can do. And if we just sit back and say, well, I can't get into that because I'm not a tradesman, I'm not going to get nowhere anyway. Well, then we're not going to get anywhere. But let's let people know what we are capable of doing and what we know. Otherwise, we'll never be known.
Do you think education for adults could be improved here?
I certainly do.
Trades education.
I certainly do.
For adults.
Yeah. Even if they can't take the blueprint and read it, they can do good jobs. And there's jobs for them, and they should, the men of that type, should never have to go back and live on welfare. Them sort of people is needed, and needed off Fogo Island, as well as all. Right on the very island that we're living on. There's jobs for them people. But as I say, they're not tradesmen. People got to come in from the outside. But there should be one man coming from the outside, a skilled tradesman. Well, now, I don't know the blueprint. Rate it off for me and I'll do the work. That would give a lot of our people on this island employment. Whereas now, there's a big percentage on living on welfare. And I says it's a regular shame. Should never be. Good workers, boat builders, carpenters. You can find almost every type of person on this island. And not boasting about it either. We got fishermen here, we got farmers here, and we're all scouting trying to make a living, and we're abiding, as we call it, but we're not as bad off as we protest to be. I don't think for a minute. We're better off than we realize, but we're not as well off as we should be. And I think some of the reason that we're afraid of ourselves, as I stated earlier. We know that we're not educated, therefore we're inclined to keep our tongues still. We should never do it, I don't think. We got children growing up who's getting their education. They can show us a lot of things we don't know. But yet on the other hand, there's a lot of sense that we can show them in spite of their education. That's my thought of this world today.